Hello, Mercurial mercenaries, and welcome to episode 7 of the Mercury 2018 prize video series discussion of the nominees for the award for the best UK and Ireland album of 2018, where 200 albums were whittled down to 12, and Bill, Ryan and I are listening to those 12 albums. And today we are listening to album number 7, which is Lily Allen's No Shame. Oh, that was an intro to end all intros, wasn't it? It was beautiful. And I was also eating a nut.
I was going to say, there's no shame in eating something while you're introing your video.
Oh, it was a cashew with lime.
I want to say, back when I was on the stage and show, all the professionals would say to me, if you really want to be a pro, eat while talking on video. That's a sign of a professional.
No, I mean, it depends. I mean, you can either be a good actor.
I mean, if this is a cooking show, maybe.
Do you know what? Lily Allen would appreciate me eating during her video, eating nuts.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Bill, have you ever heard of Lily Allen?
I might have read an article about her. Did she have a stalker who like broke into her house after stalking her for years? And then I guess she had a guy in bed with her and that flipped the guy out. And he, is it the same company but a different color? Are you color coding your stuff for all this? Because it matches your shirt and that kind of bothers me. Oh, it's the same bearded guy.
Yeah, but this one is, it's,
Okay. I don't know what that has to do with anything. It's like watching.
Yes, that is a quite a frightening experience for her. I think it was over a period of years as well.
But I've never heard her music, and I don't know anything about her.
Let me do my usual thing where I talk for a while, and then you can take the stage. Lily Allen is my. She's an interesting character. She's the daughter of Keith Allen, who's a famous comedian over these parts, and he's quite an edgy bloke. And I met him at Glastonbury in 1999.
Like Anakin and Padme in Attack of the Clones.
Exactly.
And then you tackled some weird creature, and he thought you were dead. And then you were like, no, and he tickled you.
It was just like that without the creature and the tickling. But it was just like you just said. I said hi to him and he said hi to me. That was all that happened. But she is a girl who kind of went off the rails. I think she would say herself she went off the rails for pretty much her whole life. If you read into her past, school after school, getting expelled, I think she did some drug dealing. She did this and that. But I for some reason, she's the sort of person that I should hate. She is the sort of person that I should not like. But I like her. I've always thought she's great. And she's probably got my favourite voice. There's something about the way Lily Allen sings where she sings really straight, like someone who's got no real talent. Like she'll just sing and you just think, so what? But at the end of she drags a note out and at the very end she puts a little trill on it. Little funny little trill. And that to me is just mwah. So I'm a fan of Lily Allen. And so I am predisposed to like this album. If people haven't heard of Lily Allen, I wouldn't suggest going to this album. I'd suggest going to the one that's got the fear on it, whatever that one was called. But anyway, for me, I'll just say a few more bits and you can have it. For me, it's a weird album. It's like an album of two halves. It starts off, it's got like a dance half where it's all dancey and vocal, auto-tuned and like ragga and rapping and shit all over it. And then the second half just goes a bit more rock and a bit more ballady. And I think I preferred the second half. But there's enough there, and this is from the heart. She's gone through some rough stuff. And she's always had this ability to just basically sing like a diary, and she doesn't give a f. She just sings it exactly how it is. She'll sing about bad sexual encounters, and she'll slag people off. She doesn't give a shit. She will swear. She doesn't. She just sings like she speaks. There's no. Someone should go through it and edit it, but they don't. They just let her have it. And I also follow her on Twitter, and she's quite sort of vocal politically on Twitter. She's an interesting character. I think she tweets about the same level as Donald Trump does. So I've got Donald Trump and Lily Allen just coming through constantly on my tweets while I'm texting, just stroked the cat. Lily Allen's just getting abuse from hundreds of men at the same time, and I'm going, I stroked my cat. But overall, I'm winding up now. Overall, I'll put a nut in my mouth while I say this last bit. Overall, I thought this was quite good.
See, I thought you were going to end with this big thought, and then you're like, I've got another bit here. I liked it. Well, thanks for adding that to the end.
I hated the album cover. She's one of the cutest girls around, but what the the album cover all about? It's horrible.
She's back there.
That's not the album cover though. You've just got a picture of her looking really hot.
Yeah,
she doesn't look like that on the album cover.
Well, I decided to change things.
Yeah, the album
it's
cover
interesting.
Was shit.
It's interesting that you said for people who have never heard of her, because I never heard of her.
Oh, okay.
And sorry, I wanted to wait till you did whatever that was. Aren't you supposed to twirl it around, and then
the other one.
Do a somersault and then stick your pinky out when you're drinking it? Okay, so I never heard of her before, and we get that it's Mo. No, I see it. It's fine. I never heard of her. The first thing that really hit me about her was I'm listening to the first song. Now, I don't know about this sordid history. To me, this is another R&B like Georgia Smith. So I'm listening, and all of a sudden, the F word just comes out of nowhere. Yeah, so she's dropping here, there, and everywhere. And I'd say for the first 3 or 4 songs, it sounds like a pop song. And then out of nowhere, she'll be like, I just the guy at a rave. And to me, because I don't know her, I'm thinking of like, back streets back, all right. I'm just like, what? Where did that come from? A lot of things that you said about her, I liked about it, because we came from Georgia Smith, and like we said, she made a really good album. She has a good voice, but I felt like those songs were made to be on the radio. I felt like everything she's singing about, where Georgia Smith would sing about, hey, I really like this guy, he makes my heart beat, and we're going to go meet at the club. Like you said, Lily Allen would be like, sorry that my marriage got f***ed up because I slept around and I was boozing it. And I found that really, really refreshing. And I mean, I'm really simplifying things, but when you think of music, you have your music as escapism. Think Robert Plant in his prime, with his hair blowing in the wind, his shirt open, and he's like a Greek god. He's singing about myths, and you can kind of escape your doldrum life and kind of feel the power of that music. And on the other hand, you have someone that's, I'm just a schlub like you, and you can identify with them singing the problems. Sometimes you have a band like Nirvana that mixes the two, and they really become a zeitgeist because the music sounds powerful, and yet they're expressing things that everyone can relate to. And I feel like, though I'm not as experienced with, R&B and rap music really lives in escapist land, where even if you're singing about, my man left me, the song's about, but I'm going to get a better one, and he didn't deserve me. From my experience, which is albeit limited, it tends to really, I don't hear a lot of R&B or rap artists who are genuinely wounded and are genuinely airing their dirty laundry. I know there are some, but I really appreciated that. I thought there were a lot of really well-written songs with really hooky choruses, but I felt like you said, this girl's just laying it out there and telling it like she went through, and no holds barred. And it's a shame, because doing my Wikipedia historian thing, it seemed like she knew this album wasn't going to sell as well, because she said, I know it sells, and I'm not going to give them that. I really just need to get this out of me. And unfortunately, it didn't sell well. And for my money, you can call her low class or whatever you want, but I would rather see this sort of thing get popular, because I think for people listening, to me, this seemed more real to me, for lack of a better term. And I feel like I've heard the I love him, he left me, I'm going to go to the club so much. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with escapism. We even made an album called it. But to me, I think R&B and rap really needs more artists that aren't afraid to just lay bare that I'm someone just like you. And it's a shame because I don't know. I think this is the sort of album I go, give her an award, because give her recognition, because I want to see, at least for that facet of music, I want to see more of this. I want to see who these people really are. It might not be fair to Georgia Smith, but you can almost picture her sitting in a boardroom and they're crafting. Okay, well, we got to get the big ballad in.
Yeah.
You know? So I really enjoyed this.
I agree. Lily Allen was quite a big thing over here in the kind of late noughties. She's quite a big pop star. And she kind of retired from music for family reasons for a long time.
Is she sort of like the Britney Spears? Like when Britney Spears was huge, and she like shaved her head and everybody thought she was a nut job, and then she came back?
She's like better, worse, whichever way around you want to put it, than Britney Spears, in that she was like, she's for real a rebellious girl the entire time. Like Britney Spears had the whole most of her life, like Mickey Mouse Club, being brought up by her parents, like kind of
I didn't know
force broke. Yeah,
Lily
like
I didn't know if listening to this, if this was like the Christina Aguilera album where all of a sudden she dyed her hair black and she's all, I'm a rebel now kind of thing.
No. Lily Allen's always been like this, and this is kind of a comeback album.
Okay.
And funny enough, there's a song later on this album that sounds a bit like "Beautiful" by Christina Aguilera.
That's funny, yeah.
But she is. What I like about Lily Allen is she just doesn't give a and she's kind of like I'm trying to think of, like, she's like a kind of like a rock star mentality. She's got a bad reputation because she's like, you know, whatever, sleeping around and doing this, doing that. But it's the sort of thing that your rock stars of the past were celebrated for. So you'd big up like Jim Morrison or Jimi Hendrix or Elvis or whatever.
It's very much, I mean, I think sometimes we take sexism too far, but let's be honest, you know, if she was a guy, it probably would be celebrated, but the fact that she's a girl when she's sleeping around, now she's a whore or whatever,
Yeah, so I think, but I've always liked her.
Yeah.
And like I say, I think she's got the sweetest voice, and I could have done with a bit less auto-tuney, dancey type stuff. I think what they've done on this album is they've taken someone who's got a naturally sweet voice, and just made it, just done that weird auto-tune thing to it.
Process the crap out of it.
Yeah, but it kind of works. So I can kind of see why they've done it. It kind of works.
It worked for me. I mean, a lot of the ska stuff, I know they call it ska. For me, it reminds me of Hawaii. When I used to work for an armored car in Hawaii, we'd be driving around listening to the radio, and they sort of reggaify everything. And some of these songs really reminded me. Like they'd even take hit songs. Like I remember "To the Left" was a big Beyonce song, but in Hawaii it would be like "To the Right." It was like a Rasta guy.
To the right.
Yeah, but he'd go, "I'm gonna take you on a shopping spree," and they'd play like reggae, and that was like their version. My favorite song, I think, was "Lost My Mind," which kind of had this cool marimba thing.
Lost my mind.
It reminded me of "You're So Cool," the Hans Zimmer theme for True Romance. I don't know if you remember that, which he sort of took. Yeah, there's a movie called The Badlands, which is very good. And there was a song from there, I forget the composer's name, and Hans Zimmer sort of did a version of that for True Romance. And if you have a chance, or maybe I'll comment and put it in the link, it's called "You're So Cool." It's just with marimbas, and it's a very uplifting song. And I think even my use of marimba in the last EHI album was because I just love the sound of it. But she used it a little in this album, and of course, I'm always a big fan of that. I think that, Family Man, Apples, Trigger Bang. But I will say with Trigger Bang, I've never heard a rap in an R&B song where I go, "Oh, good, I'm glad that guy came on to talk about something that's not even in the song." And just to me, rap in R&B songs peaked with Bobby Brown in the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack, where he's like, "Too hot to handle, too old to hold. They call the Ghostbusters and they're in control. Grab the proton back on their back and they split." To me, that was the pinnacle of rapping an R&B song, and we've never really reached that height since.
That was quite a height. quite a height to reach.
It really was. I mean, I say like Pet Sounds. You know, the Beatles. You could argue, is it Revolver? Is it, you know? But then,
But there's Bobby Brown. There's
then
Bobby Brown above
Brown's
that.
rap.
So back to our other discussions.
I
Like,
guess we
Bobby
got
Brown's
what is it,
10.
Under Control for the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack. And once you've seen the Mona Lisa, it's really hard to look at another painting. So I think whenever you're doing a song, if you're an R&B singer and you go, I want to have some guy come on and rap, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should not do that.
That was
but
Gigs,
overall,
yeah? Second song in, Gigs. I think it's called Gigs, came on and rapped. And then after that,
Yeah.
there was a bloke doing like a ragga
Yes.
thing.
I like how they call it grimy, and it just sounds like it's no different to me. Like, what makes this different? I don't know. Or grime, do they call it?
No, I don't think. No, I think I'm with you. It was just a straight rap, wasn't it? It was a straight rap.
When I looked it up,
it was quite good. It sounded quite good.
It called it grime or something.
Whoever it is, he's quite. It sounded nice. I didn't like what he was singing about, but then again, this album isn't really aimed at me. There was a nice song on here where I think she was singing from the perspective of a 3-year-old kid.
Yeah, 3. I think it's called.
She kept leaving her kid to go on tour, and she knew she was like being. I think she felt guilty because she was neglecting the child, and she was singing from the point of view of the child. And I think there's the suggestion, I think, on this album that her marriage split up because she kept leaving to go on tours and things. And
yeah,
I think she's quite a. She sounds quite a. You know, potentially like a broken kind of person or whatever, but
definitely. And I mean, I think about how hard that
her.
is. So I'm a person that really doesn't listen to a lot of R&B or pop really on my own. So I come into this. You've already got that against you, and then she's singing about her marriage breaking up, which doesn't sound very fun, you know. And I love the album, like so. I don't know if someone listening who doesn't listen to this would come in and love the album, but I'd say it's worth checking out. And I was surprised by how much I like this album.
Lily Allen is one of my favourite female singers, and I think she's just got such a sweet voice. That could be someone go, oh, you could be sexist calling her voice sweet. No, it is. She's got a really sweet little trill at the end of her voice, and there were songs later on in the album where there was less vocal nonsense going on, vocal processing, where her little voice was starting to shine through, and I just thought someone, and maybe if we looked at the production credits, we'd probably find it was producer after producer.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, okay, then this is probably a case.
I think Family Man, it even seemed like she was going for like a Lennon-esque ballad thing. Like
I think what we'll find here is that this will be the opposite of what we were saying earlier. Let me just Google, right? What have we got here? Production for No Shame. We've got Seb Chu, Ermi Ramanzoglu, Friars Skull, Samuel Reinhard, P2J, Mark Ronson, Star Smith, Jack Nichols, Marcy, Show and Prove, Blood Pop. You've got more producers on this than you've got T in China.
Oh, that was a clever one.
So I would say probably that this is an example of, for me, it was a bit all over the place. The downside of this album is it didn't feel like
cohesive.
It wasn't completely cohesive because you had that obvious hit banger type production going on, that kind of like for the radio, for the blokes who've got like bass bins in their cars and stuff, and banger hits, and then you had like your Christina Aguilera type stuff with her being all emotional, and it was all a little bit, in terms of a cohesive album, it was all a little bit an example of perhaps where I'd probably rather she just had one producer in the studio and just give me something that's like that rather than like that.
Yeah.
Bill!
Yes!
Bill! What are you going to give? What o'clock are you going to give Lily Allen's No Shame? Ooh, so that's 10, is that 10 at 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
2,200 hours!
Yes. Sir.
I will give Lily Allen's No Short. I'll give Lily Allen's Shame.
See, I'm seeing it backwards, so you're giving it 1 o'clock.
I will give it the same as you, 2,200 hours.
Okay, cool. So yeah, for me that goes Everything, King Cruel, then Lily Allen,
Ooh,
then Arctic Monkeys, then Georgia Smith, then Everything Is Recorded, then Florence and the Machine. And I know that might not be popular, but because I said this album didn't sell well, I want to see it do well. I don't know if it's good enough to be the best, but I would like to see this album recognized.
You're putting Lily Allen above Arctic Monkeys.
I am. At least this particular album.
Whoa, that's mighty fine. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Lily Allen translates to an American audience. She's such a just a. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say. She's so like.
Well, and I talked
you
to
Americans
you about,
like Sheen and like sprinkly stardust. Ooh.
But that's what I liked about her. And I told you, like, even with Georgia Smith, I couldn't hear her accent unless that one rap she did. But for this, I could hear her accent, and I liked that because
there's no transatlantic shit going on here. This is Lily Allen just
we don't
singing.
have that here. So to me, when I hear somebody with an accent, it's ooh, that's different. Just like over there, sometimes an American accent or somebody else can sound different.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah.
That's good. So you put her in third place.
I did.
This is a tricky one. Where would I put Lily Allen? Blimey. No, don't think that. Where would I put Lily Allen?
In your bed. Is that what you're thinking?
Would I think such a thing? I can't believe.
I want to be one of her horrible sex songs, like where she talks about a horrible experience. He cried.
You really, if you like I said after the last one with King Cruel, you got to watch them playing live on the Moon, right? Because you don't really know about Lily Allen. Go and listen to the song "The Fear," "The Fear" by Lily Allen. It's just beautiful. Classic song. You'll probably hear it and go, "Oh, I know that song."
Okay.
And then you'll realise that actually she was a big pop star. It's interesting. Everything's still at number one here. Was that good? Was that good, that album?
It's interesting. I'll probably have to go back and re-listen to it. I can say that out of all those top three, I can see myself dipping back and listening to again. I don't think Everything's the best album I've ever heard, but I think it was the strongest all the way through to me. Where King Cruel, like I said, if it was smaller, and even Lily Allen, there were songs I really liked, and there were songs where I kind of went, eh.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to put... Oh, blimey O'Reilly. Oh, dear. So I'm looking over that way because that's where I've written my list. But actually on the screen, it's here. It's on the screen down here, right? I'm going to... First of all, I'm going to shift those two around. I'm going to cut that one. I'm going to paste that one there. Right. I'm putting Everything Is Recorded above Arctic Monkeys.
Whoa.
Yeah, what the hell?
So you also jumped over Georgia Smith.
So I've got Florence, Georgia, Arctic, Everything Is Recorded, King Cruel, Everything. Where am I going to put this one? I'm going to put Lily. Oh, Lily.
Of the
King Cruel should probably be at number one at the moment.
Really?
That's a hell of a band.
I mean, I really liked it, but really number one?
I'm going to put Lily Allen above King Cruel. I'm going to put Lily Allen in second place. How about that? Mr. Ryan?
How about them apples?
Everything. Lily Allen, King Cruel, Everything Is Recorded, Arctic Monkeys, Georgia Smith, Florence. I've put Lily Allen 3 places above Arctic Monkeys. This is going to get a torrent of abuse.
You know, it will. You'll make me think about King Cruel and Lily Allen. It's tough. You know, because King Cruel, when his high moments are very high, and I don't mean that as a pun. I don't mean, because if you were stoned, I'd probably like it even more. Like, if I was, like, really high listening to that album, I'd probably say it's the best album ever made. But I'll have to think about that. Do I like King Cruel? Right now, I'm sticking with King Cruel above Lily Allen, just because Whereas
I
Lily
think
Allen,
that's probably right.
I appreciate her honesty and the guts it took to do what she did. King Cruel's creativity. I mean, where
Yeah.
I've heard his influences, I've never heard someone quite exactly like him. You know, I think Tom Waits would be the closest I could think of.
So I don't really know Tom Waits, but I can kind of. I
Listen to
think
Tom Waits, it's worth it.
I like personality in music, personality of albums, and for that reason, Arctic Monkeys is a good album, and Everything Is Recorded isn't. King Cruel is a good album.
I mean, that's
Lily
true, and I
Allen's
love Arctic.
for that reason.
I'm a big Arctic Monkeys fan, and I wanted to love the album, and I told you I love the idea of it. I just don't think, and I think if you put them next to King Cruel, and again, I don't know them, so this is my perception from the outside, but King Cruel, I felt like he's like, I feel really depressed. How can I express that? Where Arctic Monkeys, I felt like they went like, what would be a good idea to do as a thing?
Yes. So Arctic Monkeys are definitely the singer. I've forgotten his name again.
Alex Turner?
Alex Turner. He has thought for this album, we're going to be a lounge pop act for this album.
Yeah.
I'm going to play the piano, not the guitar, whatever, and that's what we're going to do. And I quite like that. That's a fair enough thing to do.
Oh, sure.
But King Cruel, he is just more real. However, really, just go and listen to Tricky's Maxine Choir album because it does King Cruel but better.
I've heard like 2 Tricky tracks because didn't he do something with Bjork too back in the day?
Probably, I don't know.
I remember like listening to 2 songs of his way, and he kind of does do that, like I'm going to talk under it like this, and we're gonna.
Well, that's trip hop for you. I mean, it's that kind of mumbling, talking, speak. It's what King Cruel does. And actually, to be fair, that's pretty wrong thing. Tricky isn't doing what he does better. King Cruel, if you watch that thing I'm on about, it's absolutely fantastic.
Singing is always harder to me than writing lyrics, so I should probably just do that. I should probably just write. I could probably do 20 songs a day. We could just.
But you know what the main problem here is that we're comparing apples and pears again. Because how would you really compare King Cruel and Lily Allen?
You couldn't.
I mean, they're not from the same world. How can you I've put Lily Allen above King Cruel. Right?
I think
that doesn't make any sense at all.
Make them. You know how they do like the wife thing, where like you take your wife and you put him with a different husband, and she's neat freak and he's not. I think they should put Lily Allen and King Cruel in a house. Yeah. And like see how well they get along, I think at the end they'd be married. Or maybe he'd be, I don't know how young he is, maybe he'd be,
Well, he's 11.
Yeah, he's 8 years old, so maybe they wouldn't be married. Maybe he'd just be like her kid.
Okay. So there we go. So King Cruel is Lily Allen's kid. Lovely. Maybe he's the 3-year-old that she's singing.
Maybe that was about King Cruel.
Yeah.
Back when he starred in the Harry Potter films.
Yeah.
With Hermione.
There we go. That's Lily Allen's No Shame.
There's no shame in that. There's shame in that.
Cool. What are we listening to next episode, Bill?
Geez, I don't remember. Nadine Shah's Holiday Destination.
Cool.
And I needed to take a holiday after listening to it because it's awful.
Over and